What's up guys, it's Marvellous Beats and I'm back with another video. Today is more of a tutorial style video. I'm going to be breaking down how I made my last Nav Type Beat called Wanted You that is up on my YouTube and Beat Store. Hopefully you guys can get some tips and tricks from this video. This is going to be more about how I make my beats myself, and I'm going to be explaining how I made the melody for the track, the drums, and mixed it and everything else. This beat is inspired by Nav's latest project, Reckless. It's brand new, it's fire. If you haven't heard it, check it out. Tons of great songs in there. The one with Travis Scott goes fucking hard. This is more of an atmospheric type beat with a spacey vibe. I made everything from scratch. I'm going to break down how I made the beat in this video. If you want to see more videos like this or me making beats from scratch on my channel, just let me know in the comments section down below. And also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But with that being said, let's get right into the tutorial and break down how I made this Nav type beat and show you guys how I make my beats. Alright, to start off this beat, I set it at a BPM of 157, so it had a more up-tempo bounce, kind of like the faster beats that Nav tends to rap on. Also, for this video, I had to export all the melodies into Edison just because my CPU couldn't handle Omnisphere and everything with the screen recordings. I have the melodies actually up here, but I also have the Edison audio files just so when I go to play everything, you guys can actually hear it without it fucking going crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna start off with how I made the bass melody, which is the main sound throughout the track. Alright, to start it off, I started with this Omnisphere sound right here. So I actually started off this chord progression with the top notes here. This is in a Aeroline scale. I used the Ghost scale. If you guys don't know what that is, I can make a tutorial on it, but pretty much I'll show you guys right now. Like, if you haven't seen this before, if you just click this button right here, it has all the different melodic scales. So yeah, I just used the Aeroline scale. So I started off with these top notes here, and then I went and built the chords that after. I'm gonna play it for you right now so you can kind of hear how it sounds all together. Yeah, so I actually just started off with that first half of the melody, and then I copied it over and then added a little variation to it. Usually sometimes I start with the chords, but for this one I just started with those top notes, and you want to get a little feel for it and get the nice little simple melody going, and then the chords kind of add that depth to it. As you can see, I kind of kept it on C minor. That was my bass note, and then I dropped it down here. There's a little trick for making chords where you want to kind of skip every other note on this scale. I can make a tutorial on all this stuff if you guys want to see it. I also dropped the velocity of the chords a little bit lower. By lowering the velocity of the bass chords, it kind of just keeps it tucked in the background, but yet it still sounds nice. So after I made that bass melody, I went and layered it with a different sound, and I changed the octave of it so it wasn't filling the same frequencies. So as you can see, this is the same melody. I literally just copy and pasted it. However, I dropped the whole thing an octave lower. You can easily do this by just selecting all the notes and then hitting Command down or Command up, and that either drops the notes or moves it up an octave. I'll play this sound by itself so you can kind of hear. This is more of a ambient piano with kind of like a little reverb to it with this unique sound. I'll play it right now so you guys can see. Again, it doesn't have that harsh of a sound. I wanted to stay with more ambient sounds for this beat since it is a Nav type beat. When you're making melodies, you really just want to layer them and then mix it after so they can kind of complement each other. So now that I had those two main melodies, I'm just going to play what they sound like together here. So as you can see, that first melody I made with that spacey guitar kind of is sitting on top of the other sound with the keys, kind of tucked it below it in the mix, but it still fills out that main melody for the track. Alright, so after I had that main melody put down, I went in and made a lead. If you have the same melody looping throughout, it makes a stale track. So yeah, I went in and created this lead. I made sure to stay within scale, and I stayed within the notes that I had already put together with the main melody within the chords. I usually like to make a lead that goes for the hook, so it kind of adds some variation in comparison to the verses and bridge of the track. So yeah, it's a very simple melody, but it does add some variation, like I said, and it's just literally a simple bell. Bells are really good for trap beats. They just sound really good with everything, and I made sure that it's ambient. All the sounds I picked had a little reverb to it because I really wanted to get that Nav sound. I'm gonna play what all these sounds sound together like right now. So as you can see, that lead sits nicely on top of the main bass melodies for the track, and it does have a different melody from the notes on the top of the main melody. However, since they're all on the same scale, they do sound well together, like they don't seem out of place, and it just adds that nice switch up for the hook of the track. So for my beats, I'm also experimenting with kind of more variation on my bridges and stuff just to add more of a dramatic drop when it goes back into the hook or any other switch ups. So for this beat, I made a bridge. So this is the chords. It's actually the same bass chords from the main melody, and I just took out the top notes, as you can see. This is just a very ambient, spacey pad, and I'll play it for you guys right now. So with those chords, I took out the top notes because it was just too crowded, and with pads you kind of want to keep it a little more basic because there's already so much going on with it, change ups within the sound itself. So yeah, I added that bridge sound because I wanted some variation between the verse and the hook. So I'm going to play what it sounds like transitioning in between the verse, bridge, and hook right now. Yeah, so this is where the verse is going on right now, and then it's going to transition into the bridge right here. Again, I try to stick with those spacey sounds because it is a Nav type beat. And then I bring it back into the hook with these sounds here with that lead. But yeah, that was all the melodies for this track, but now I'm going to show you how I made the drums for this Nav type beat. Alright, so for the drums with Nav, he does like to fill them out with lots of different perks, and if you listen to his latest album, Reckless, there is a lot going on with the drums for most of the beats. For this one, I tried to kind of keep it busy, but at the same time, I didn't want to overfill it, because I noticed with a lot of people, they like to put too much in their drums, and there's just too much going on, and there's not enough room for rappers to really do anything with the beat. To start it off, I always just start with a simple clap, basic. I'll play it right now. Nothing crazy, and then I went and added a little bounce snare. And then also what I like to do recently is on every like fourth clap or every other clap, I will layer it with another kind of sound just to kind of give it a little more variation. So as you guys can see, so that clap kind of has a little bell with it, or a little like triangle thing. Adds a little more variation, and I noticed that Nav likes to do that a lot with his beats. Every other clap, or like every fourth clap, he'll add another sound layered with that clap, and it just gives it a little more depth. So the next sound I went with my drums is a little rim shot, just a little perk to kind of add another little bit of bounce to it. And yeah, I'll play it right now. Yeah, again, that just kind of fills out the drums. You don't want to overcomplicate it, but you got to find those right spots to put these little perks in just to kind of fill out the drums. And then I went into my hi-hats. To start off the track, I just started with basic 4-step hi-hats to kind of build into it, and then I went and added some complicated hi-hats after. But with these intro hi-hats, I also kind of mess with the velocity, so every other note you want to dip the velocity. It kind of gives it a little more of a bounce. This kind of gives it a more of a human sound, and it just, I think it makes them sound better, to be honest, especially if you're going to keep the hi-hat simple with like just hitting every note and not adding any rolls. But yeah, that was kind of like the intro, and then I went in when the beat actually drops and the hook comes in. I added these hi-hats. I'll actually bring up the pattern right now. These are the hi-hats I made. So again, it's hitting every 2 steps, but I like to add a lot of rolls underneath the actual hi-hat. With the hi-hats, you kind of just want to feel the vibe and do what you think sounds best. And also, I like to keep my rolls in 1/3 step or 1/6 step or 1/6 beat. And also, you want to make sure you're messing with the velocity of your hi-hats. Yeah, at the end there, I also added a kind of a little bit of a variation with double roll, and I kind of dropped down the hi-hats on the scale, just kind of give it a little more of a bounce. And then other than that, I just went in and filled some perks. Like I have this little perk right here. I made that one a little more quiet, tucked it in the mix, and then I added some open hats. Just basic, kind of hitting before the clap. And then I went in and made my kick in 808. This is my 808 pattern right here. It's also important with 808s that you keep them in scale, and also you kind of want to go with the guidance of your bass notes within the chords or whatever melody you created. But yeah, other than that 808, I just had the kick that kind of comes in on the hook, and then I drop it for the verse and then bring it back. You don't always want the kick hitting with the 808, you kind of want to take it out just so that when it actually comes in, it sounds a lot harder. That's what the kick and 808 sound layered together. Other than that, I just added some crashes and my tag, and then kind of had it fade out with the outro. But yeah, that's the whole beat. I'm going to play it for you guys here at the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial on how to make a Nav type beat. Let me know in the comments if you want me to see me make some beats from scratch, or if you guys want to see any other tutorials on how to do stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this Nav tutorial. Let me know what you guys want to see next from my channel, and hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Call it marvelous. Call it marvelous.